Wait a minute, was that Sully from Monsters, Inc. carved into a piece of wood in the movie Brave? How is that even possible? Someone needs to explain to me what's going on. Actually, I guess that's my job. Let me explain it to you guys. Welcome back, guys. I'm your host, Joss, and thanks for coming back to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying it, and hang out with me until the end where I'll respond to some of your comments. We all love finding out about hidden Easter eggs in some of our favorite movies, but with those eggs comes theories. Today I'm talking to you guys about the top 10 Disney Pixar movie theories that will blow your mind. Let me know in the comments below which theory blew your mind the most. Let's get started. Starting off in our number 10 spot combines two classics, Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. The theory being that Randall from Monsters, Inc. is actually Andy's monster from Toy Story. This theory would make you have to believe that these two movies exist in the same universe. If you can get on board with that, then you need to look closer during one scene in Monsters, Inc. In the scene where Randall is practicing his scare tactics, he's casting himself on a bedroom wall that looks very much like the wallpaper in Andy's room. Everyone knows the blue wallpaper with clouds is the legendary image of Andy's room. Could it be that Randall is actually Andy's monster and that one of his doors has led him to Andy's room? What do you guys think? I think it's almost too coincidental for it to be the exact same wallpaper, so I'm getting on board with this theory. Speaking of Toy Story, our number 9 theory is that Andy's mom is actually Jesse's original owner, Emily. Okay, let's take it back a notch. Throughout the Toy Story movies, we never know Andy's mom's name, so this could actually be a possibility. Jessie, the cowgirl toy, in case you guys forgot, always spoke of her lost owner named Emily. The story goes that her owner Emily grew up with her and she was always incredibly loved. But eventually Emily gave her away as she grew older. Jessie ended up in storage for a long time. Looking back at the movie now, there is some evidence that could prove this theory. If you take a look at the hat Andy always wears, it's noticeably different than Woody's hat. It's actually a replica of Jessie's cowgirl hat. Woody's hat is brown and you would expect this hat to replicate the toy he's so connected to, but instead his hat is red with white lace just like Jessie's. But wait, this theory goes even further. When you look at the scene of Emily's room, you can see a hat on her bed that looks just like the one Andy wears. The room also looks pretty old-fashioned, which could show that it took place long before Andy was born, meaning it could have been his mom's room. Andy's hat is faded where the center white lace would have been. Could it be that over time the hat has faded? Anything is possible in the world of Disney. At number 8, we have one that actually breaks my heart a little bit. I'm almost a little mad at whoever came up with this theory. The theory that Finding Nemo is the story of Marlin's imagination because Nemo is in fact dead. How depressing. Remember, I'm not the one who came up with this, I'm just bearing the bad news. This theory stems from the idea that Nemo means nobody in Latin, and that we see Marlin's wife and her eggs are all dead at the beginning of the movie, which some are thinking could include Nemo. So basically, throughout the whole movie, we're watching Marlin deal with his loss by inventing a story in which he saves his son Nemo, the son who could have been. The theory goes on to say that each of his encounters represents the stages of grief in order: denial, anger, bargaining, despair, and acceptance. And maybe it's not a coincidence that everyone he meets along the way tells him to let go of his son. I'm really hoping this theory isn't true, and I'm so sorry if I completely ruined this movie for you. On a lighter note, let's head to theory number 7, coming from The Incredibles, the theory that Edna Mode saved the world with a cape. Edna's no capes policy was fierce until Syndrome came to her for a new outfit. As a reminder, Syndrome came to be the supervillain in this movie, but his name was really Buddy Pine. Not only did Edna study his powers and make suits for the Incredibles to do battles with him, she also gave Syndrome a cape. Coincidentally, the cape turned out to be his downfall. Maybe Edna planned it all along. If so, smart lady. At number 6, prepare to be mind blown. The theory that Boo from Monsters, Inc. is actually the witch in Pixar's Brave. Isn't Boo a toddler and isn't the witch like 80 years old? I'm confused too, so let me explain. So she figured out how to time travel through Sully's doors, which leads her to being the witch we see in Brave. Apparently she spent her entire life trying to find Sully. What created this crazy theory was the carving of Sully that appears in the background in one of the scenes in Brave. Check it out. Crazy, right? I never even noticed that. That definitely fuels the idea that the witch knows who he is, and how would she if she wasn't in fact Boo? I'm intrigued by this one. I can get on board with it. Halfway through at number 5, we have the theory that the tree in Wall-E becomes the tree in A Bug's Life. Okay, you know the plant that Wall-E keeps safe until the humans return? Well, this theory suggests that it becomes the tree in A Bug's Life, and it's actually the reason we don't see any humans in that film. The tree shows that the Earth has yet to repopulate, which is why it's all about the life of bugs. It almost makes too much sense that I can't even deny this theory. I'm stumped. At number 4, we have yet another monster theory. This one being that Bong from Inside Out was actually a monster who worked at Monsters, Inc. We know that Bong is Riley's imaginary friend in the movie Inside Out, but this theory suggests that there's more to the story. The story goes that while he was working at Monsters, Inc., he was assigned to Riley's room to make her laugh so the city could collect energy. But Riley got so comfortable with him that she treated him as an imaginary friend. This theory actually makes some sense because let's not forget that at the end of Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully decide to make kids laugh instead of scream because it generates more energy. But one would think this would leave kids feeling traumatized. I mean, imagine a monster coming through your door, making you laugh, and then disappearing forever. Creepy. This would make no sense unless children perceive these new monsters as their imaginary friends. Is it just me, or are some of these theories actually making some sense? Speaking of Inside Out, taking our number 3 spot is another theory from this movie. The theory that Riley's mom committed credit card fraud. Damn, quite an assumption to accuse a Disney character committing a crime. But let's investigate. This theory first came about when fans noticed the name on her credit card in one of the scenes. If you look close enough in this scene, you can read the name on the back of her credit card, which says K. Ann Anderson. This case isn't looking so good for her because number 1, her name is Jill, and 2, her last name Anderson is spelled with an E and not an O. Fans are saying that she did in fact commit credit card fraud, and that's the reason why Riley's family had to move so quickly. Interesting. What's even more interesting though is that people are wondering whose credit card it really is. People can't help but notice that K. Ann Anderson is actually Bonnie's mom's name from Toy Story 3. Yet another mind blown. Alright, if you guys thought I broke your hearts with the Finding Nemo theory, prepare for another tearjerker. In number 2, we have the theory that Carl is actually dead during the entire movie Up, as if the movie wasn't already sad enough. As a recap, Up follows the story of a 78-year-old man named Carl who loses his wife and fulfills his lifelong dream of tying thousands of balloons to his house so he can fly away. But he finds out he isn't alone on his journey when a little boy named Russell shows up. The theory suggests that he died in his sleep before he was going to be taken to Shady Oaks Retirement Village, and that Russell is actually his guardian angel helping him into the afterlife. The house could represent his connection to the real world. So basically what this theory is telling me is that we're watching old man Carl being escorted by a tiny angel up to his wife Ellie, who's waiting for him in the afterlife. I'm not crying, you're crying. Alright guys, at number 1 we have the biggest theory of all, the theory that all Pixar movies are interconnected. This theory suggests that all Pixar movies take place in the same universe, just not at the same time. The theory is so big that it was actually turned into a book called The Pixar Theory, written by Joe Negroni. The book covers every feature-length movie by Pixar Animation Studios since 1995, following the storylines of how they are connected. This theory would help explain quite a few Easter eggs you might have missed in some of the movies. A big one being a scene from Toy Story. If you pause the frame, you can see 2 bugs from A Bug's Life on one of the bush leaves that Buzz is standing in. Take a look. That's insane, right? It would only make sense if it was true that all these movies are taking place in one universe, but each story happening in a different timeline. This theory is wild, and it looks like I'm gonna have to read this book. Well, there you have it guys. I hope your mind was blown as much as mine was. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what theory blew your mind the most. For now, let's check out some comments from my last video, Top 10 Disney Easter Eggs You Never Noticed. If you guys enjoyed today's video, you guys should definitely check that one out too. Eclipse the Fox says, oh my god, I never caught this stuff, why? By the way, I love this channel so much, the name of it really fits. Glad you like the name, and don't worry, all of those Easter eggs went right over my head. Amanda says, I feel like I have never watched Disney in my life because of this video. That's exactly how I felt too, Amanda. Elias says, love when y'all say about. Oh, the typical Canadian joke. I knew that one was going to come. Both says, great video, can't wait for part 2. Let me know in the comments if you guys want part 2 of these videos, and maybe I can make it happen. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We are so close to 10K. Let's make it happen. I'm your host, Joss, and I'll see you next time.